the legends of jazz and the original Hoofers in a beautiful show presented by Mel Howard called 1000 Years of Jazz.
I began working for Mel Howard in the early 1970s, 71, 72, something like that. I figured that by the time I left in 1985, we had toured around 150 shows, some of which were repeats and some of which weren't. But Mel had a real talent for putting shows together. When I first started working for him, he had started a thing called the Afro-Asian Festival, which was playing at the Brooklyn Academy of Music in New York. And then how 1000 Years of Jazz got started was in the 1970s, around the mid-1970s. He went to see a band called the Legends of Jazz.
Well, Barry, New Orleans was organized with unions for musicians, and he went and joined the Black Musicians Union. He was the first white person to do that. Of course, today there is no Black Musicians Union. There's a union, thank goodness, for everybody. But there was Barry, and he had the ability, organizational ability, in addition to playing a nice drum. And so he put the group together. And what did I need now? I needed a singer.
And so he liked the band, and then he went to see the original Hoofers at La Mama, where they were performing. And he put the two together, thinking that would make a great show if he added a singer.
So I decided to go with a younger, strong, talented Black singer who would not imitate the Bessie Smiths, but would sing the songs of the period to the music as it would be played by these legendary musicians from New Orleans.
So when I got to the audition, I said, what am I going to do? And I decided, I think I'm going to sing a song that's really in my blood. I decided to sing a song, a gospel song, because my grandfather was a Baptist preacher and so was my father. So when I turned up at the audition, I sang Precious Lord. And I guess it must have been the right decision, because right after my audition, Barry Martin said, girl, you can holler.
Just perfect, Deborah. A pleasure to work with and talented. And she held the audience and got along with all the guys.
And he added up all the ages of the performers. Well, the singer didn't add too many years to it because she was fairly young. But between the Hoofers and the band, the ages came close to 1,000. So that's where it got the name 1000 Years of Jazz. And each of the Hoofers had their own special little number that they did. And the band, of course, could play anything, and the singer could pretty much sing anything. And they, as Barry told me, rehearsed in New York for one day. I didn't remember that. One day only. And then they did a 10-day tour of Canada, which opened in Quebec in February. Needless to say, it was a little chilly. It was very well received, and in all of the towns that it played in. And the show was so popular that it went on through the early 80s. There were cast changes, of course, because deaths and other things that went on.
And that began my wonderful, wonderful experience with the Legends of Jazz. I had songs that I needed to learn. Some of the beautiful music was After You've Gone. I've got Rhythm, Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey, traditional Dixieland jazz.
So now I had legendary tap dancers and legendary musicians and a wonderful young female singer, stage manager, lighting man, sound man, and I had a show. So we booked the show. It started out in Canada, where I had a couple of places that would take my stuff and give it a try, and it was successful. Then I got a New York theater, the Intermedia Theater, way downtown, 2nd Avenue, And we opened up, and the Times gave us a nice review, which allowed me to book it elsewhere in the States and then get it over to Europe and get it to South America and get it all over the place. We had fun, especially in Mexico, where we did command performance for the president of the country, who liked it so much that he invited it back. And so we did 2 performances.
And that was all under the leadership of Mr. Barry Martin. He was the band leader, and boy, he was a character. He smoked a big cigar. He came from England. He had an English accent, but he spoke the dialogue of Black people. So I recognized very early on that he had had a lot of experience playing with Black musicians, especially in the New Orleans scene, Dixieland jazz. So from this experience, I learned the most I would ever learn about performing on stage, because it was intense performing in over 20 countries. And after the shows, that was the best part. I would sit there and listen to the stories of Mr. Clyde Barnhart and Barry Martin. I could listen all day long to hear these tall stories about Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, just to name a few. And I was amazed that I was working with musicians who had shared the stage with these legends. Yeah, I was 22, but I have to mention the oldest member in the group was Alton Purnell, and I think he was 80 or close to 80. But you would not know it. When we got on that stage, we were all one group, and we were really just surrendering to the music, and it was a beautiful, beautiful scene.
gentlemen, the Panama Way. Right now, let's get your music coming here. Thank you, David. You know what it means to miss New
Now, do you know what it means to miss New Orleans? Miss it both night and day. I know that I'm not wrong, and the feeling is getting stronger. The longer I stay away. I miss those moss-covered vines and the tall sugar pines. As for the mockingbirds, they used to sing. And I would just like to see that old lazy Mississippi just hurrying away into spring. There's the Mardi Gras and those lovely Creole songs. Yes, they just fills the air. And I'm dreaming of Holy Andrews in June. And I'm just wishing that I was there. Now don't you know what it means to miss little New Orleans? Because that's the place where I left my heart. But there's one thing more, I miss the one I care for more than I miss New Orleans.
In this house, cut out all the yakety yak. Little sausage coming, your woman, cut out all the yakety yak. Yes, cause your little daddy, the one talking back. Yeah, now she giving and she gabbing. She talking about this and running her mouth again, yapping. Yeah, she giving and she gabbing, talking about this and that, running her mouth. Ow! I got news for you, baby, you ain't nothing but
of the best experiences is when we were playing at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., and we were asked to be a part of the President's Command performance. That was an experience of my lifetime. Ford's Theater in Washington, the President's Command performance. Oh my God! That was such a wonderful experience. I can still remember it as if it were yesterday. I shared a dressing room with Liza Minnelli.
In the Truman administration, the haberdashers of this country felt a special pride. And during the Wilson administration, I'm sure the educators of our nation had that same feeling. Now it's our turn. One of ours has made it. And our pride is enhanced by the fact that he is proud of having been one of us. As I said, Ford's is a working theater. The current attraction is called 1,000 Years of Jazz and features an appropriately named band called Barry Martin's Legends of Jazz, and a lovely young singer, Deborah Woodson, and 4 dancers, Lon Chaney, Jimmy Slide, Ralph Brown, and 76-year-old George Hillman. Together, they are the original Hoofers.